Welcome to the Stories for Kids podcast
by Russell Corey.
Are you kids touching my podcast?
No!
I'm coming in there.
Mia, quick, push on the button.
What are you kids doing?
Nothing.
Why don't we just read a story?
Yay!
Welcome to the very first Stories for Kids podcast. My name is Russell Corey, and I'm a writer, and I'm also a father. I love telling my kids stories, and I thought, why not record them as podcasts so they can listen to them again and again? And if anyone else wants to listen to, then great. We're glad you're here to share our stories with us. If you want to learn more about the books I write, you can go to my author website, russellcorey.com. That's RussellCorey.com. You can also find me on Facebook at Russell Corey-author page. This podcast story is very special because there's actually a book you can follow the story with. If you want to listen to the podcast with the book and look at the same pictures as the characters do in the story, you can go to my author website and view the Dot Blot book on RussellCorey.com. It should be on there for free, depending on when you're listening to this podcast. The book, Dot Blot by Russell Corey, is also available for purchase on Amazon as both an ebook and a paperback book. But you don't need it to enjoy the podcast story. It just makes it a little more fun to see the pictures while the characters are talking about them. So this episode's story is about 3 very special robots that love to learn. I hope you love to learn as well. The name of the story is Spot, Dot, Blot, Visit Earth, written by Russell Corey. Are you guys ready to begin?
Yes, start the story.
Although no one knew it at the time, Earth was discovered on Tuesday. The beings on the planet that had just discovered Earth were peaceful and curious. They wanted to know all they could about this strange little blue-green planet they were suddenly seeing on their telescope screens. But they were too far away from Earth to go and visit it themselves in person. Instead, if they wanted to learn about this new world, they were going to have to send robots that could survive such a long journey to get there. Then, once the robots arrived on the new world, they would take pictures of life on Earth and beam them back to their home planet to be analyzed and studied. 3 amazing observation robots were designed and built to go to Earth for this very special mission of discovery, knowledge, and peace. The first of these robots was Spot. Spot was a little round white ball with a camera lens on it that made Spot look like it had a big black eye. Spot also had a speaker that it could communicate with. The speaker made it look like Spot had a little smile on his round face. Spot was designed for traveling on land, so he had 3 black legs that could extend out of his round white body. The legs would allow Spot to walk around and explore. But if he needed to, Spot could always pull his legs back inside of himself and turn back into a round white ball again. The second robot built for the mission was Dot. Dot looked just like Spot, with a big black camera lens eye and a speaker for a mouth. But the difference was that Dot had wings instead of legs. Dot's mission was to take pictures and observe things in the air. Her powerful wings would let her soar above and study everything she could find in the sky. The third robot built was Blot. Blot was designed to observe life in the water, so Blot looked a little like a fish. Actually, because Blot had a white body, he kinda looked like a little baby beluga whale. Just like Spot and Dot, Blot had a camera eye and a speaker mouth, but Blot also had a spinning propeller at the end of its body to push it through the water like a submarine. And instead of legs or wings, Blot had fins built on his sides to control where he went. Together, all 3 robots would be able to take pictures and study life on Earth, no matter if it was on the ground, in the air, or underwater. The robots were built extra tough, so they could withstand any challenge they might face on the new planet. They could take the heat from being in a volcano without melting. They could also survive the frigid temperatures of getting stuck in an icy storm without freezing up. They could fly through a hurricane and not get blown around, or swim through the swiftest ocean currents without being pushed off course. In fact, their bodies were so strong, you could drop them from the tallest building on Earth, and when they hit the ground, they wouldn't even get a scratch. Once all three of the durable robots were designed, built, and tested, they were loaded onto a special rocket that blasted off and headed to Earth. It would take 5 years for the rocket to go from its home planet all the way to Earth, which meant if Spot, Dot, and Blot had started school on the day the rocket blasted off, they would have been able to go to kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, and even fourth grade before the rocket finally reached its destination. For those 5 years, Dot, Spot, and Blot were in hibernation, meaning they were asleep, saving all their energy for their mission ahead on Earth. When the rocket finally passed by the moon, that meant it had been 5 years and the rocket was getting close to Earth. So the rocket then opened up and the three robots popped out and headed down for Earth. Using magnetic power, the three robots were stuck together. Dot was on top, in the middle was Spot, and at the bottom was Blot. They made it through the atmosphere together, then Dot sprouted her wings and flew them down closer to the surface of Earth. When they got over the ocean, Blot let go and dropped in. When they got over land, Spot let go and he fell to the ground. Spot hit the ground hard, but he had been built just for such a thing, and rolled along on the ground until he finally came to rest in some grass. At first, Spot couldn't see anything except the grass in front of his camera, but then Spot stuck out his legs and grew taller by 7 inches. Now Spot could see all around himself, and everywhere Spot looked, he saw life. There were trees and flowers and bushes, and so many wonderful colors: green, blue, red, yellow, and purple.
Look at all this wonderful life. It's going to be a lot of work to learn about this planet. I better get started,
Spot said as he began taking his first pictures. After dropping off Spot and Blot, Dot started her mission of discovery in the air. The sky was sunny, bright, and blue. It was very pretty, Dot thought, but there wasn't much to take a picture of. Then Dot saw a big, puffy, white thing floating in the air. Dot flew over to the white cloud and told it all about the mission, to learn everything about Earth. But the cloud just drifted away, not saying anything back to Dot. Dot was disappointed the cloud didn't say anything back to her, but she took a picture of the cloud anyway and flew off to find something else to explore. Blot was going so fast when he splashed down in the ocean that he almost hit the ocean floor. But Blot eventually stopped and extended out his fins and propeller and started to swim. It was so dark that far down in the ocean, Blot had trouble seeing, so he turned on his body light. All three of the robots had the ability to glow like a light bulb, so they could see in dark places and at night. But when Blot started to light up, it attracted the attention of a giant squid that was hiding in the murky darkness. The glowing Blot looked like a small, tasty treat to the hungry squid, so it reached out its long tentacles to try and grab Blot. Blot saw the squid arm reaching out and thought the squid was just trying to say hello. But instead of saying hello, the squid's arm wrapped around Blot. Blot knew he was in danger, but he was programmed with ways to defend himself. He didn't want to hurt the squid, just scare it off. So Blot decided he would flash like a camera would right before it takes a picture. So just for a brief second, Blot got as bright as he possibly could and lit everything up around it with its light. The flash did indeed scare off the giant squid, which released Blot and swam away swiftly, but not before squirting out a bunch of black ink in its hasty escape. That was strange, Blot thought, but I'm glad I got pictures of it. I can't wait to show them to Dot and Spot. With Blot now successfully swimming in the ocean, the mission of discovery for all three robots had started. Spot took pictures of everything he could find on the ground. Sometimes objects were big, like a mountain. Other times they were tiny, like an ant. But Spot took pictures of whatever he could find. Dot searched the skies high and low and took pictures of anything flying around. Sometimes these flying things had feathers, and they went tweet, tweet, tweet. Other times they were made out of metal and roared by quickly, barely giving Dot the time to take a picture. Meanwhile, Blot took pictures of everything in the ocean it could swim up to, from the biggest blue whale to the smallest shrimp. Sometimes these things were soft and squishy, and other times they were hard and crusty. The robots had the ability to talk to each other no matter where they were, kind of like the way we communicate with phones. After a few days of exploring, they all called each other to report in. They were excited about all the pictures they had taken and were sending back to their home planet, but they didn't know much of anything about them. To solve this problem, Spot said,
I'll find someone living on Earth that can tell us about these pictures. That's how we can learn.
Who will that be? Dot asked.
I don't know.
Spot replied.
I'll just start asking and see who can help us.
Dot and Blot transmitted their pictures to Spot, the same way we on Earth would send a text message or email to each other. Once Spot had all the pictures, he went looking for someone on Earth that could tell him about them. Spot saw a sleek red sports car, but before he could even ask for help, the automobile sped by quickly, never even slowing down for a second.
Well, that doesn't help me.
Spot then saw a big brown dog,
Hey there, can I show you some pictures and have you tell me about them?
but the dog didn't say anything back. Instead, it thought Spot was one of his balls that he fetched, so he tried to put Spot in his mouth and take him home. Spot used his little black legs to run away, to find someone else to ask. Spot asked a stop sign, a telephone pole, and a mailbox, but none of them would even respond to his question.
This is going to be harder than I thought.
Spot said, worried that he'd never know anything about the pictures they took. Just then, Spot saw something float by. It was round, just like Spot.
Hey, that looks like me.
Spot exclaimed as he followed the clear floating bubble that passed by in the air.
Actually, you look more like Dot. Can I show you some?
But before Spot could finish his question, the bubble popped and disappeared.
Oh no, what happened? Are you okay?
The bubble was gone, and Spot was sad to lose his new friend. But then Spot saw another bubble.
Hey, get back.
But then the bubble popped too.
Oh no, not again.
But more bubbles came, and Spot grew excited. Certainly one of them could teach Spot about the pictures he and his robot friends had been taking.
Can I show you some pictures and have you tell me about them?
The bubbles that didn't pop just floated away, ignoring Spot and his question. But now Spot wasn't sad. Instead, he was curious where so many bubbles could be coming from. Spot walked in the direction of the oncoming bubbles, and there he saw a little boy and girl making the bubbles in their front yard by blowing in a little plastic ring they held in their hands. The little boy and girl looked down and saw the small round robot standing there looking up at them with its big black camera eye.
Hello, my name is Spot. I was sent here with my robot friends Dot and Blot to learn about your planet. We've been taking pictures, but I don't know what they mean. If I show you the pictures, can you tell me about them?
Sure. I can help too.
Spot used his camera eye, which could also be a projector, and he displayed the first picture on the side of the house for the little boy and girl to see, as if he was showing them a movie.
What's this a picture of?
A cat.
What do cats do?
They scratch.
Ooh, I don't want to be scratched. What's that a picture of?
A cloud.
What do clouds do?
They just fly around and they're made of stuff.
What are they made out of?
Stuff.
Stuff. What do they do? Does anything ever come out of a cloud?
Rain.
I hope it doesn't rain on me. What's this a picture of?
A jellyfish.
A jellyfish? Can you eat that with peanut butter?
No.
No, it wouldn't taste good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me tell you another thing about them.
Okay.
They sting.
What? They sting? How do they sting?
With their tentacles.
Okay. I don't want to be stung. What's the next picture of?
A puppy.
Those puppies are cute. I like those puppies. Are puppies friendly?
Yes.
What's the next picture of?
A hot air balloon.
A hot air balloon. What do you do in a hot air balloon?
Fly.
Oh, that has wings.
But instead of air going into it, it's fire.
Oh, okay. What's the next picture of?
A turtle.
A turtle. What's on its back?
A shell.
Oh, what do they use their shells for?
Keeping them safe.
To keep them safe. I like that. What's that a picture of?
It's a soccer ball.
Oh, okay.
Does it look like you?
It kind of looks like me, doesn't it? It's white with black spots. I like it. Soccer balls are very handsome. I just made a joke. What's that a picture of?
Airplanes.
Oh, what do you do in airplanes?
They fly.
Oh, you ever been on an airplane?
Yes.
What's the next picture of?
A clownfish.
Oh, does it live in a circus?
No.
Why do they call it a clownfish?
Because it looks like a clown.
Oh, because it's so colorful?
No.
Okay. What's the next picture of?
A horse.
What do you use horses for?
Riding.
Who rides on a horse?
I can see that you're looking at one.
Yeah, I looked at him when I took this picture. What? Who rides on horses?
Cowgirls and cowboys.
Cowgirls and cowboys? Are they half cow and half boy and girl?
No.
No, what is a cowboy and cowgirl?
They ride on a horse and they cap. And when cows are running away, they capture them.
Oh, okay.
And they bring them back to the farm.
Oh, that's very interesting. What's that a picture of?
A helicopter.
A helicopter, wow. Okay, what's the next picture of?
A snail.
A snail? It has something on its back, too. What is it?
A shell.
What's the next picture of?
A bubble.
A bubble.
We were blowing bubbles.
Yeah,
And then we met you. What's the next picture of?
let's take a look. What's that a picture of?
A dolphin.
A dolphin.
What's the next picture of?
What's the next picture of?
A crab.
Oh, no. What do they do on the crab?
Snapper jaws.
Snapper jaw? Are they called claws?
Yeah.
Oh, what do they do with their claws?
They snap you.
Ooh, I don't want to be snapped. Let's look at the next picture. What's that a picture of?
A bird.
Wow, what type of bird is it?
Eagle.
Wow, it's really big. It looks really cool.
What's the next picture of?
I don't know. You tell me. What's this a picture of?
Scuba diver.
A scuba diver? Oh, thank you for telling me about all these pictures. I learned a lot.
When are you going home to your planet?
I'm not. I was just sent to Earth to take pictures. Me and my friends aren't going back. We're here.
So you're here to stay?
Yes, we have so much to learn about your world.
Where do you go when you're not learning and taking pictures?
What do you mean?
Where's your home on Earth?
I don't have a home. We just keep wandering around discovering things.
Everybody needs a home.
But we don't have one.
That's silly. Even dogs have homes.
The little boy said as he pointed at the empty doghouse in his front yard.
Do you have a dog?
No, that doghouse was here when we moved in. I want to get a dog, but my dad says I'm too young for a dog yet. I'm not responsible for a dog yet. Maybe in a year or two we can get one.
Well, I think you're very responsible, and I hope you get your dog soon.
Hey, in the meantime, how about you stay in the doghouse?
Really? I can live here?
Yes.
Can my friends come visit me?
Yes.
You know, when I first came to Earth, I didn't know what to expect. But I think you have an amazing, beautiful planet. And thanks to your kindness, now I have a home.
The little boy gave Spot a big hug and told him.
Welcome to Earth and welcome to your new home.
Right then, Spot sent a signal back to his home planet. It wasn't a picture, it wasn't a science fact, or a history lesson. Instead, it was a pure and simple signal of happiness. Spot knew there was still a lot of work ahead of him, Dot, and Blot, but for now, Spot had a home and a friend. The end. Well, I hope you like meeting Spot, Dot, and Blot. There'll be more stories about them learning about Earth on future podcasts, along with a lot of other characters from different stories, including Hardway Henry, who always has to learn everything the hard way. And for all the mommies and daddies listening out there are some books for you on my russellcorey.com website as well, and most of them are free to read, so check it out when you get a chance. And please give us a rating on iTunes if you can. It really helps spread the word about the Stories for Kids podcast, and it means the world to me. I really hope you come back and listen to future episodes. So if you're going to bed, good night, and I hope you have some amazing adventurous dreams. Or if you're in a car with mom and dad on your way to be dropped off at school, I hope you have a great day learning. And if you're on a family outing to have some fun or get something good to eat, I hope you have a wonderful time as well. Goodbye for now, but always remember to come back to the Stories for Kids podcast. I'm Russell Corey, and thank you for listening. And here is your end of the podcast sound effect.